telecommunications operator. And that we were having this conversation with them. So a lot of it was around the experience that you would have in a retail environment. And they had these experts, which they called gurus. And gurus were effectively these super techie people that actually you could bring any phone on any network in, and they'd be able to kind of work out the problem and fix it for you. It's very much the sort of a bit like the Genius Bar, but for kind of anything. And what we were able to do is sort of try and understand and sort of codify their best guys, what they were doing, and it was what was the playbook. Like, these guys would inherently do it naturally. They'd just be able to kind of, it'll just be, they drive it through their own personalities. And one of the things we ended up describing was this idea of the Columbo moment. And Columbo is, for all you kids out there, Columbo is a sort of TV show with this sort of this cop, and basically everyone underestimates this cop, but eventually at the end of the program he sort of solves this very complex murder mystery. But his sort of calling card is, he sort of comes back into the room and he sort of says, hey, one last thing. And he asks that killer question, basically, that breaks the whole case. So every show, it was the same thing. So we were saying, before someone leaves the store, what's your Columbo moment? What's that moment where you go, before you go, let me just show you this, or let me just tell you about this. Or so we didn't specify what it would be, but we just sort of built it into the training and the DNA. And so now this sort of 80s cop is now part of the sort of which we drew out from what was already great that some people were doing, but sort of tried to codify that into the way that we delivered service through the stores. What becomes really interesting is it ends up being something that people become quite proud of. It becomes something that becomes a showcase for people. People want to sort of one up each other in terms of what they can do. So if you can get it right, it can be a really powerful differentiator, the way that you can just empower your people to be able to deliver some of these sort of amazing sort of little micro moments.